Hello everyone, welcome to Edukemy. This is another video in your PYQ series. I would be taking geography and environment related questions. Students का सबसे बड़ा पेन पॉइंट geography में होता है mapping related questions. And it is natural because the questions are such. For example, if you look at this question, the question is asking about the river and the national park. What happens in your atlas is there is a page for the national park, there is a page for the river. However, UPSC is asking on the overlapping themes. So because UPSC is asking on overlapping themes and a student who just sees the atlas fails to understand that whether the river will pass through a national park or not, whether this pilgrimage site would be there on this hill or not. So we'll have to see that how UPSC is asking questions. So look at this one question, which is the river and the national park. The question is asking that which river passes through which national park. कौन सी river कौन से national park से pass होती है. This question can be answered by elimination technique as well as your some bit of knowledge. Why do I say elimination technique? Now look at this option number 3, the Silent Valley National Park and Kaveri. Kaveri is time and again in the newspapers because of the water disputes between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So Karnataka, Tamil Nadu में dispute है about the distribution of the Kaveri waters. And ये जो Silent Valley National Park है, the Silent Valley National Park is in Kerala. So you can easily eliminate this. And then if you eliminate this, the B and C option gets eliminated. Now by your knowledge, you will have to see that 1 and 2 is the answer or none of this is the answer. But exam में कई बार ऐसा होता है, the students are like कि हम 2 options पे अटक गए. We are confused between 2 options, rest we can manage. The game is between those 2 options. Herein what happens is you have to direct your preparation according to the lines in which UPSC has been asking questions. For this question, this is wrong. Ganga does not pass through the Corbett National Park, and here the answer is none. Now if we delve into this question or on the similar themes, then you can see that we've come up with which river passes through which national park. I'm starting with the Indus and its tributaries. If I talk about the Hemis High Altitude National Park, so Hemis High Altitude National Park is situated somewhere here from which your Indus or the Zaskar river, they pass through. So Hemis High Altitude National Park से Indus या Zaskar pass होती है. If you've ever been to Kashmir, 2-3 important tourist sites हैं, Pahalgam, Dal Lake and Srinagar city. So this Srinagar city is situated on the banks of your Jhelum, and the Dal Lake is also on the Jhelum. So there is a possibility that a question can be asked that Dal Lake is on which river, Srinagar city is on which river, Wooler Lake is on which river. So you can mark easily Jhelum. Those who've not even been to Kashmir now would be able to mark this answer. If I talk about Chenab, so I'm talking about Indus, Jhelum, and coming on to Chenab now. So you can remember this, Chenab starts with C and ends with B. So it is made up of 2 rivers, which is Chandra and Bhaga. So Chandra plus Bhaga becomes Chenab. And both of them, they actually meet at Kelyong. Therefore, Chenab is also known as the Lady of Kelyong. Some important facts can be remembered by phonetics, by mnemonics, by these alphabetic arrangements. So try to use these hacks, these shortcuts to remember things in a better manner. Coming on to Beas and Satluj. If we see Beas, Beas is the only river here in these tributaries which rises in India and ends in India. So remember some important unique facts like this. And if we see, so this is where the Beas originates and this is where it ends. This is your Satluj, which is like parallelly flowing to the Indus. So Satluj flows parallelly. Here Beas and Satluj के confluence पे you have your Harike wetland. So the Harike wetland, which is an important wetland, is situated at the confluence of Beas and Satluj. A quick revision would be Indus passes through the Hemis High Altitude National Park. At the confluence of Beas and Satluj is Harike. Chandrabhaga is Chandra plus Bhaga makes Chenab, which is also known as the Lady of Kelyong. And in Jhelum, you have the Dal Lake or the Srinagar city. These important facts can help you in your elimination technique also. Now, if I come on to the Ganga river system, so you have your Alaknanda river, which passes through the Valley of Flowers. How do you remember this? Just remember, says Alka love flowers. So Alaknanda passes through the Valley of Flowers. Then we have Ganga river. The Ganga river, it passes through the Rajaji National Park. If you look at this is the Valley of Flower, which is there in your Uttarakhand, and even Rajaji National Park is in Uttarakhand. So from the Rajaji National Park, the Ganga river passes. Ganga, you remember, like a king. It's the king of all the rivers. So Rajaji National Park se Ganga pass hoti hai. This has been asked in your UPSC examination. It is not Ganga that passes through Corbett. It is Ram Ganga that passes through Jim Corbett. So this is about the Ganga river system. If I talk about the Yamuna, so the Yamuna river system, here there is one important sanctuary, which is the National Chambal Sanctuary. As the name suggests, National Chambal Sanctuary. So Chambal river तो पास होगी ही होगी, साथ ही साथ आपकी यमुना भी पास होती है. So the Chambal, National Chambal Sanctuary, it is the Chambal and the Yamuna that passes. And if I talk about this Rantham board, which is in Rajasthan, from here your Chambal and the Banas river passes. So if you see, if this is the Ganga river system, this is the Yamuna river system, the tributaries of Yamuna is something that we are seeing. So it's the Chambal and the Banas, they both meet at the Ranthambore National Park. You can remember a short form, Chal Bana Ranthambore. Chal Bana Ranthambore. Make some mnemonics, make some tricks so that it becomes easy for you to remember things in a better manner. So this is about the river and the national parks. Now I'm touching upon the another theme that has been asked by a UPSC examination is about the hill and the region. So which hill and is seen in which region? One of the question was, this is the question, the Cardamom Hill is in the Coromandel coast. It is fairly easy because the Cardamom Hill is in Kerala, but Coromandel coast that you can see is the Tamil Nadu and the eastern coast side, but Cardamom is somewhere in Kerala. So here you can eliminate Cardamom and Coromandel easily if you have just the basic knowledge of the location of the coast and of the hills. So one becomes easily eliminated here. Now coming on to this, we've already seen in the pre-YQ series that Mikir Hills at the northeast India is correct. So 4 is correct. So either you are left with 3 and 4 or 2 and 4. Now Kaimur and Konkan India. So Konkan is this portion. The Konkan is this portion. But if you see Kaimur, Kaimur is an extension of the Vindhyas. So Vindhyas is somewhere located here. So see how far they are located, and UPSC has not been asking too many questions which cannot be eliminated if you have some basic locational analysis. So if this is eliminated, we are left with 3 and 4. So you'll have to apply both of the logic. One is the location analysis and the elimination technique while you are solving the question. Okay, so answer is 3 and 4 only. Now it is important for you to have some location analysis, to have some idea of which hill is situated at which location. So if I actually start with Gujarat, so this is your Kutch area, so this is your Kutch Hills. You have Gir and Gir National Park in Gujarat, so you will have Gir Hills and the Girnar Hills also in Gujarat. So important hills, Kutch Hills, Gir Hills, Girnar Hills is in your Gujarat. As we can see, this question has been asked, Vindhyas. So Vindhyas extension is your Kaimur Hills. So these are your Vindhyas and the Kaimur hills. We know that here is Vindhya, here is your Narmada, here is your Tapi. This is Satpura. So remember the short form VNST. Vindhyas, Narmada, Satpura and Tapi. Vindhyas range, Narmada river, Satpura range and Tapi river. VNST can be the short form which is north to south location. Vindhyas, Narmada, Satpura and Tapi. So Vindhyas hills and the Satpura hills is somewhere located here. Just know the location. Then you have already seen that they will either ask Konkan coast or northeast or North India or South India. It can be easily eliminated. Just have the location analysis in your mind. If you look at this, you have the important hills in the Maharashtra is your Ajanta, Harishchandra, Balaghat. Ajanta, Harishchandra, Balaghat, Satmala. They are important hills in the Maharashtra. Ajanta, Satmala, Balaghat and Harishchandra. Here is your Maikal hills which is there near Chhattisgarh. The important hills in the Eastern Ghat is the Garjat hills. Here in the Hazaribagh is the Hazaribagh range. So if we quickly revise, the important hills in Gujarat was Kutch, Gir, Girnar. In the Maharashtra it was Satmala, Harishchandra, Balaghat and your Ajanta. In Chhattisgarh, we had seen the Maikal ranges. In the Eastern Ghat, we had seen Garjat. In near Hazaribagh, we had seen the Hazaribagh range. And one more shortcut that we saw was VNST, Vindhyas, Narmada, Satpura and Tapi river. Now another hills which are in your southern India. So southern India has two major ranges, the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. In the Western Ghats, the important hills are the Baba Budan hills, Nilgiri hills, Anamalai hills, Cardamom range. So we've seen the Cardamom range. This has been asked in your UPSC examination. So you can see this Baba Budan, Nilgiri, Anamalai and the Cardamom range. If we talk about the Eastern Ghat and the important ranges, you will see Eramala, Nalamala, Velikonda, Palikonda, Sheshachalam, Javadi, Chevroy, the Panchpat Malai, the Siru Malai. So all the Malais, Panchpat Malai, Siru Malai, Nalamala, Eramela, Palikonda, Velikonda, Javadi and Chevroy. Try to see rhymings here. So it's Nalamala, Eramala, Palikonda, Velikonda, Javadi, Chevroy, Irumalai and Siru Malai. These are the hills of the Eastern Ghats. So I hope you liked the video. If you liked the video, please share, subscribe and like. Thank you.